So today's video is actually a sudsor request. This was a custom order that they had asked for and gave me free creative license for the actual design of the bar. So I'm super excited about that. And I'm going to tell you all about the sudsor request in just a minute. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 279 of 365 days of soap, and today we are doing a sudsor request. And I'm not 100% sure that it's actually day 279, so I will, we'll all do nothing about it at this point. So we're just going to keep rolling. But yes, this sudsor request is from one of my local sudsers who always comes up with really great ideas for soaps, right? They actually did the pomegranate, lemon, raspberry thing that we did in the summertime, which was a slam dunk. Love that so much, for sure. And this one was a white chocolate peppermint mocha thing, and I love that idea for sure. And it's been a hot minute since I've made anything coffee scented or chocolate scented, so that's what we're doing today. Now again, because I had free license with the actual making of the bar, I decided to mix things up and actually make a white bar, since it's a white chocolate, and that can be a little bit complicated to do when you're dealing with notes like chocolate and coffee and all of the things. So let's go check out the pour, and we'll talk more about the process and all that jazz there. Custom soap requests from sudsers are like my absolute favorite ones to make, for sure. So that's what we're doing today. We have multiple things going on. In that kaolin clay, it's actually not dispersed in water. It is dispersed in a delightful peppermint, and that will be going into the body of the soap. And the additional little beaker up there is the rest of the blend, because I had a sudser request a white chocolate mocha with a hint of peppermint soap. And I loved that, and they did not give any sort of indication for what they wanted the design to look like, and so it became dealer's choice for that as well. So I get to play around with a cool, fun, scent blend, because I love peppermint just in general, and I feel like that's a great thing to put into January, because bright and clean and new, and that's peppermint. But then adding some white chocolate, which will discolor, so that goes into the blue and the orange portion, and some, mocha, also discolor, so that will go into the blue and orange portion as well. I thought that was a great idea. And so we are also doing a blue and orange swirl inside, kind of sandwiched in between two very strict white layers with the peppermint and all the jazz. So it's gonna be fun for this one. And yeah, I love sudser requests. I really do. This particular sudser, they actually, I think this is, I want to say their third request that we've done on the channel. No, they're second. They're second. So the first one was the pomegranate raspberry, and that was a slam dunk. Like, that one actually worked really well within the line during the summer and was very, awesome. It was pomegranate, raspberry, lemon. We had the little lemon things on top. They were cute, and that totally worked. And so, yeah, whenever this sudser has a scent idea, I definitely pay attention, and so that's what we are doing today. Kind of a fun pour too, with, again, we're going to have three layers. It's a 3-layer bar, but then the top and the bottom will be all white, and then we will have like a swirly thing going on in the middle with the blue and the orange and a little bit more of the white because, you know, reasons and fun and all the things. And this is ready to get put in the mold, this portion here. So let's get the mold out and do the putting in of the soap into the mold thing. Now for the first portion, I am doing something I very rarely do, which is taking a stick blender back to the batter to set up this portion faster, because I want to pour something on top of it, right? I want to pour a nice swirly soap on top of it, which is another reason why I'm not actually working with my orange and my blue batter right now, because I want it to stay reasonably fluid, and that extra oil that the micas were dispersed in will help with that endeavor once I start, you know, mixing the color into the rest of the soap. So while this is setting up in the mold, I got this to a, you know, a thicker trace, and while this is setting up in the mold, I will then work on my orange and my blue and getting that ready to go and do its little pour thing on the top. And these are like super Broncos colors. I said, I don't know, like a month or so ago, I was making the chai wine soap for another sudser, actually, that had requested a custom soap. And I was worried that it was going to end up looking like the Denver Broncos, and it did not. But this one might, so that's fun and interesting. But you know, we'll check it all out. It'll be great. Now the rest of the scent blend with the kaolin is going into the white portion here, because I will be using a bit of the white in the middle swirly part for sure, and then the rest of it is going to go on top of the blue, orange, white swirly bit. So yeah, all the things, and we're gonna roll with that. The big problem in doing it this way though is whites can actually look different, right? Like not all whites are created equal. And so I'm having to sort of eyeball the color of white that's in the mold versus the color of white that I'm making right there to make sure that it kind of reasonably matches the bottom layer. Because you really shouldn't do it that way, but I did it that way. So I made more work for myself ultimately. But you know, it's probably going to be fine. And I probably shouldn't have mentioned that because I haven't cut this bar yet, and I don't know if the top portion ended up as white as the bottom portion, and so now you're going to be looking for it. Whereas if I had said nothing, you wouldn't have even noticed if that was the case. Now the white soap underneath, it's not quite ready for this yet. It's close though, but you can see in a couple places the blue and the orange did fall through a little bit, which, well, it's unfortunate. So I started going to a wall pour to get more colors in because I really didn't want it to break through. And I already know that it's going to, because as I'm watching this, which I could not see as I was pouring very well, it just felt different as I was pouring. So I got to the point where I'm like, maybe I do some wall pours for this. And maybe I make a whole bunch of messes on the side of the liner. This is my life. I am a disaster. And so I switched to a wall pour to get more of the soap batter in with all of this, and then we'll run the white in the middle so they all do their swirly swirl thing with the orange and the blue together, and yeah, all the things. And that's pretty. Sorry, I very rarely, you know, there's not much that makes me actually just stop talking when it comes to talking about soap or whatever, but every once in a while I can get sort of mesmerized by the soap going into the mold for sure. And now it's just my typical messy mess, and so I don't need to get mesmerized by that because that's just me doing my swirly swirl thing, because I don't want to do things like take skewers and hangers and all the things to it. So I'm creating the swirls by kind of sloshing the soap into the container or into the mold in different ways. So there's all that. Now this does need to set up long enough for me to pour the white on top of it so it doesn't break through into, you know, the swirly area in the middle. So it does its thing. I walk away, I let it go do it, I let it do its thing, I go do something else while it's firming up, and then I pour the rest of the soap batter over the top. And it doesn't super matter how thick the top layer really is, as long as the middle layer is fully, is firm enough to pour something and to handle the weight on top. Because for the top layer, you can totally spoon it on and smooth it out and bang it down, even if it's super thick, to make sure that you have all the air pockets and everything out of it. And so, you know, that's what we're working with right now. But luckily it didn't really get super thick while it was sitting, and I think it sat for about 10-15 minutes before I came back to it. I went and, you know, helped out some customers and chit-chatted and did all that thing. And that actually happens a lot in the soap world. So I mean, there are some instances probably where you've seen a video and you're like, oh yeah, super fluid batter, and then all of a sudden, oh, thick, what happened here? What happened there was I went and helped a customer, and, you know, we did the checkout thing, and then we did the chit-chat thing, and when I got back to my soap batter, things were thick. But, you know, it still worked out. So, and it worked out perfectly for this one, because that's exactly what I needed the top layer, or the middle layer, to do, was set up in the mold. So, yay! And yeah, just for the rest of the soap that was left, I'm just doing a messy top with all of this. And again, it doesn't really make sense or reflect the actual scent blend with the peppermint and the mocha and the white chocolate. It doesn't really super reflect that, but I was in an orange and blue mood. So that's what we're doing with all of this. And it will be just kind of a messy top skewer, and then it will be put in the oven for C-pop and gel, because that's what I do. I think I say this for every single video. I love C-pop. That's my jam. And also I want to make sure that this orange really darkens up really nicely, because I don't want it to look like Orange Crush Denver Broncos orange. So this is going in the oven for C-pop, and we will cut into it, you know, tomorrow. So let's go check that out. Okay, on to the cut. Now, I hadn't actually seen this cut before I started the audio for this video, so this is brand new. I was flying blind with all of it, and the orange is very beautiful. It's more burnt and awesome, and the blue turned more tealy, which is also awesome. I love that. Ooh, that's pretty. That's very, very nice. I'm here for that for sure. And that's part of the discoloration from the vanillin in the scents, and the mocha, as well as the white chocolate. Yes. And so let's see what we have going on inside. And well, that's just pretty. Look at that. That is delightful. And the two colors from top to bottom for the white, they're the same color, but do you notice that there's glycerin rivers in the top portion and not glycerin rivers in the bottom? It's interesting. It's especially interesting because I didn't actually put, again, the kaolin clay was not dispersed in water. It was, because that's the best way to get glycerin rivers, right? Is to use kaolin clay, or to use water. And oh, that's gorgeous. Even the part that, you know, kind of swooped down a little bit, still pretty. And my kaolin clay was not dispersed in water for this guy, so there shouldn't have been a difference between the two, but wonder of wonders, we've got a couple glycerin rivers hanging out up there. They're very slight though, so they're almost not noticeable. So it's fine. It all ultimately works out for sure. That's one where it just dipped down too far, but it's still pretty. It still totally works. It kind of looked like a clown nose and mouth thing though. That was creepy. And that's kind of cool. Kind of looks like some fun marbling or something, which is cool. And you know, like proper marbling, and not that crazy marbling video that I did. Do you remember that epoxy pour thing? Oh my god, that was a terrible idea. So much soap or oil was removed from the batch to make that absolute mess of a soap. It did finally firm up though, and it's actually a pretty good bar soap to use for sure, but it's like a Castile type soap to use because it took so long to firm up, because it wasn't, you know, a thing. And that one's interesting, but yeah, these are great. They smell really amazing. I super love these. And yeah, that is day 279. And yes, I am still wearing my Christmas pajamas because I'm not ready for Christmas to be over. The white mocha with peppermint. And there it is, the white chocolate peppermint mocha thing. Yes, super beautiful. I actually like doing the little internal swirls with the layers and all of the jazz. I've been really into that lately, and so you might see some more pours like that. The way that I like to soap totally comes and goes in waves. Like sometimes I'm really into swirls, other times I just want solid bars. It's all a thing. Right now I'm into the internal swirl thing. Yes, so there it is. If you're interested in the peppermint mocha white chocolate thing, I'll come up with a name for it eventually. Like just, yes, you can find it on the website at soapandclay.com. If you would like me to make a soap for you, send me a message. I'm happy to do the things for sure. I like playing with suds or designs. So yeah, do that thing. If you are interested in more soapy antics and all the things, subscribe to the channel. For those of you who are subscribed to the channel, hey, thanks. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for joining me for another round of 365 days of soap. I am out of here for today. I will see you guys all again tomorrow for another kickoff of an Amy Warden Soap Challenge. Bye.